Have you ever wondered how Gandalf and the hobbits crossed the borders of kingdoms without a passport? Today, you can't cross a border without a passport, but it turns out that 200 years ago, crossing a border required nothing more than a horse. Borders belonged largely to feudal lords, and no one had passports. Borders were guarded by ducal troops to protect against armies and dragons, not against migration. Therefore, one could easily leave Marseille on horseback to live in Rome, and from Rome, move to Riga, Siberia, or Constantinople, and no passport was required. Surprisingly, even Joan of Arc never had a passport. She became a subject knight of France, only because she decided to voluntarily fight on the side of Charles V. In the Middle Ages, every knight bore the king's coat of arms and represented the kingdom. Problems with border crossings only arose in the mid-19th century, with the emergence and implementation of the theory of nationhood, and the mass issuance of passports to people. This little book created a sea of problems, or more precisely, the nationality column in the passport. The original prototype of the passport appeared in France in the 1760s at the King's initiative. It was intended to collect taxes from merchants coming from other kingdoms. Passports were issued only to merchants. But later, the idea of the passport became a tool of politics and war. In the mid-19th century, passports began to be issued en masse to residents of many countries. The goal was to associate a person with a state and flag, so that taxes could be collected from every person born in the country, as well as to mobilize the population and avoid the need to hire mercenary soldiers. In the Middle Ages, for example, armies were mercenary, and therefore there was a huge risk that soldiers would not carry out orders without pay. Therefore, in the 19th century, nationality was always included in every person's passport, leading to the belief that the person was born in the country and already owed a debt to it. Sometimes, nationality was added voluntarily, and sometimes by force, as was the case in Russia and then with the Third Reich. There, if a nation was disloyal, a person could be deprived of everything. As a result, states became national. The theory of nationalities took hold, and people without passports are now often denied entry simply for having the wrong checkmark. Therefore, if Gandalf and Frodo lived in the 21st century, they would be stopped at passport control at the border with Mordor, and asked to show bank statements and employment records, and they would not be allowed to cross, and the Ring of Omnipotence would never have been destroyed.